You've thought about it. Maybe after losing someone you love, or late at night when silence feels heavy. What happens after death? Do we just vanish? Or do we live on in memories? Or is there something eternal beyond this fragile body? Over 3000 years ago, a young boy, barely 12, stood face to face with the god of death himself and dared to ask the very same question. The question, what happens after death, is not new. Long before modern psychology, long before philosophy classrooms, this question echoed in the ancient India. One of the most profound answers lies in the Kathopanishad, a scripture that is part of the Krishna Yajurved, composed more than 3000 years ago. Unlike books written by a single author, the Upanishads are Shruti, truths that sages directly realized in deep meditation and passed down orally. The Kathopanishad is not just philosophy, it is a dialogue between Yam, the god of death, and a fearless child named Nachiket. In this dialogue lies the secret of what we truly are beyond death and why understanding this changes how we live. What makes it extraordinary is how it aligns with modern psychology. Psychology today says that much of our anxiety comes from the fear of loss, impermanence, and being forgotten. The Kathopanishad addressed this centuries ago, teaching that our real self is untouched by loss or death. It is eternal. That is why these ancient words still strike the human heart today. They don't just speak of what happens when life ends. They speak of how to live without fear, here and now. This boy was Nachiket, the son of sage Bajasravasa. During a great sacrifice, his father donated old, weak cows, an empty gesture meant only for show. Disturbed, Nachiket asked again and again, "Father, to whom will you give me?" Annoyed, his father replied in anger, "I give you to Yam, the Lord of Death." Taking his father's words as truth, Nachiket set out to meet Yam. For 3 nights, he waited at Yam's abode without food or rest. Moved by his resolve, Yam granted him 3 boons, and Nachiket asked for the first boon, that his father's anger be calmed and he be welcomed home. The second boon, knowledge of the sacred fire ritual that leads to heaven. Both were granted. But the third boon, Nachiket asked the question that no one dared to ask. When a man dies, some say he still exists, others say he does not. Tell me, O Yam, what truly happens after death? Yam hesitated. He offered Nachiket treasures, long life, kingdoms, pleasures, even celestial maidens, anything but the answer. But Nachiket refused. All these pleasures fade. Wealth is temporary. Even the longest life ends in death. I seek only the truth of the eternal. His determination opened the doorway to one of the greatest spiritual teachings ever recorded. Yam revealed, the self is not born, nor does it ever die. It did not come into being, and it will not cease to be. Unborn, eternal, everlasting. It is not slain when the body is slain. This verse is almost identical to what Krishna later teaches Arjun in the Bhagavad Gita, showing the timelessness of this truth. Yam continues, smaller than the smallest, greater than the greatest. This self dwells in the hearts of all beings. One who is free from desire, with mind and senses at peace, beholds the majesty of the self. Here, death is not an end. The body may perish, but the self, the Atman, is untouched by fire, water, weapons, or time. Yam also explained that every human being stands at crossroads. The good, Shreyas, and the pleasant, Preyas, approach human being. The wise choose the good, though difficult, and the foolish choose the pleasant, craving only what brings delight. This teaching is strikingly modern. Even today, we face the same choice: temporary comfort or enduring truth. Thousands of years have passed, yet our fear of death remains. But more than death itself, we fear being forgotten. We chase success, possessions, followers, legacy, hoping that something will outlive us. But as the Kathopanishad reminds us, legacies fade, names are erased, memories dissolve. Immortality is not in being remembered. Immortality lies in realizing the self cannot die. So, what happens after death? The Kathopanishad gives us Yam's answer. Death is not the end. You are not the body, you are not the mind. You are the eternal self, unborn, undying. The real question is not what happens when I die. The real question is, how will I live, knowing I cannot truly die? The wise one, realizing the self that is difficult to perceive, hidden in the cave of the heart, dwelling in the depth, leaves joy and sorrow far behind. Every breath you take is moving you closer to death. But if you know who you truly are, every breath also becomes freedom from fear. Ask yourself, am I chasing what fades, or am I seeking what is eternal? Do I live for applause and legacy, or do I live in truth? The Kathopanishad is not about death. It's about learning how to live without fear, without attachment, with the wisdom of eternity within. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe. We hope we helped you a little. Thank you.